everybody, welcome to Mac Monday. I am in Oklahoma City with Adelaide South, and she's gonna show us some awesome food today. I'm gonna let her take the floor, so yeah.
Yes, hi. Okay, Mac wanted to come out here and talk about BJJ competition nutrition, and me being a dietitian and a BJJ competitor, I was like so amped to do this for her. So the first thing I think about when I hear competition nutrition is honestly weight cutting. Being a fit girl myself, I immediately think I need to cut weight. When I sign up for a tournament, I'm like, well, my weight's not good enough where I'm at. I need to get into the next bracket. You probably know the feeling.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah.
this is not okay, but really there's some things that you should consider before cutting weight. Mainly, number one is if you're a female, cutting weight is a lot harder than if you're a male, and that's because of our hormones. Like if you look at the calendar and your tournament is on the same week as your period, you really aren't going to want to cut weight for that, and you really may not even want to do that tournament because when you work out like really heavily around your period, you're at more risk of injury and things like that. And really, just as women, we store up to another 8 pounds of water.
I did not know that.
Just from the bloating and stuff like that.
Wow,
So,
I did not know that.
So if you're a girl, keep that in mind. Like if you are, 2 weeks away, like if the tournament's well away from your period, then yeah, maybe you can cut a bit of weight, but I really wouldn't recommend signing up for anything that's below 5 pounds or more than 5 pounds greater than what you need to lose to get to that bracket. There's a lot of unhealthy ways to cut weight. If you're cutting weight for like a bodybuilding tournament, when you get out on the stage, like you're not expected to fight for your life. So it's very different than cutting weight for a BJJ.
I would hope not.
Yeah.
What a weird bodybuilding competition.
So like that's fine for them to go on, no carbs and no water and just like totally dried out because like nobody's gonna attack them. But in BJJ you're gonna get attacked. The only way that I really would recommend is to do a water manipulation method, which would start the week before your tournament. So on the Monday before your tournament, you can have as much water as you can possibly consume, like up to 2 gallons. You don't want to flood yourself out. If you're really petite, don't drink 2 gallons of water, drink like 1 or 1.5. And then on the next day down to cut that in half. And then the day after that, you cut that down even some more to where you get to Friday, the day before tournament, you're only drinking like up to 1 liter of water. The day of tournament, you can just have sips until you weigh in. And as soon as you weigh in, you want to start rehabbing water. We can absorb up to 1 liter of water an hour. You actually don't absorb pure water as well as you do other things. So Pedialyte, really common example of something that people will bring to tournaments to drink. It's great. It replaces electrolytes, which, what is an electrolyte? You hear that word all the time. All that is the main 3 are sodium, potassium, and chloride. So those are found in everything. Like sodium chloride, that's just in salt. Potassium, basically any fresh fruit or vegetables has potassium. It's a source of potassium. So it's just a matter of like to what extent it has it in it. Something that's really good for your hydration is actually watermelon, because we absorb 92% of the water in this goes like straight into our cells versus water. If you're just drinking pure water, it can just flush straight through your body.
That makes all the sense in the world, and I never knew that.
When I first learned about it, it sounded a little new age to me, a little like far-fetched, which I kind of love that stuff, so I wasn't totally turned off. But there's actually good science behind the theory of crystalline water. The way that water is structured in fruits and vegetables, it's got a shape that our body recognizes. So the molecules line up in a way that is a lot easier for our cells to recognize and absorb than pure water out of the tap, where this is actually filtered water. So what we'll do to make our bodies able to utilize this more quickly is add a little bit of salt. You're like, why would I want my water to be salty? Isn't salt bad for you? If you're a BJJ competitor, salt is not bad for you. Like it's very unlikely that you're getting too much salt, because when you're sweating on the mat, you're losing so much sodium through your sweat. Another thing we add is our cucumbers. These are great sources of lots of minerals and as well as potassium, of course. Lime has the vitamin C in it, and vitamin C is one of those ones that you want to get throughout the day because it is water soluble, so your body just flushes it out within a couple hours, and you need to have another source of it. I also have some mint from the garden in there. That just adds a little bit more flavor and helps it look more festive. If you're not a big water drinker anyway, you might benefit from making your water look a little bit more attractive and delicious and make you drink more of it.
Okay. Oh my god, that's so good.
That's good, right?
Wow. Wow, okay.
Yeah, it makes it a lot
It's so
more
simple. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
On the other end of the spectrum from cutting weight is you go to a tournament, you start fighting, and you feel like horrible, like worse than you've ever felt, because what happens is blood sugar drops off. The best method that you can do is to eat like a huge meal. Like I'm talking like 200 to 350 grams of carbs, which, you know, 15 grams of carbs is a serving, is a slice of bread. So you're talking, you know, like way more than that. So you want to eat that much carbs, and you want to eat that 3 to 6 hours before your tournament. 3 to 6 hours before is going to give your body time to actually assimilate those nutrients. Whereas if you eat like within 30 minutes to 2 hours before you're competing, what happens is your portal vein receives the glucose, your body releases insulin, and the sugar is pulled out of your blood really quickly. So within that window, so close to competing, that will cause your blood sugar to actually be low when you compete. Kind of counterintuitive to eat that much that far ahead, but it actually is the best practice. Another thing to do to
Never would have guessed that.
Another thing to do to keep your blood sugar stable while you're competing is to not actually drink water while you're competing. It's to drink rehydration beverages. So you can make these yourself, kind of like what we just made here. I would add some sugar to that as well if I was going to use it to rehydrate. Pedialyte is great, Gatorade's fine. Any of those drinks that you see that are sports drinks, that's what you want to be drinking in between your matches, especially if you have like 6 or 7 matches to the finals. You want to drink something that has carbohydrate in it, so you know that portal vein keeps receiving sugar, the insulin keeps getting released, but you have sugar on board, so you're not just draining your blood while you're competing. Just starting BJJ, you're going to the gym now 3-4 times a week, and you know it's kind of new. What should you be doing with your nutrition? So if you're like going from not doing very much exercise at all, or just like hitting the elliptical or something that doesn't really like drain sweat out of you the way that BJJ does,
and it definitely does.
Yeah, you want to focus on your hydration level, your inflammation status, as well as your nutritional adequacy. When I say hydration level, I mean like you want to get at least half your body weight in ounces of water every day. So like for me, I'm 150, that would be 75 ounces, and that's just like a bare minimum. And then in addition to that, I want to think of like eating juicier foods. So like soups, smoothies, things that have water along with them. Anything that's like pre-packaged, the way that it's able to be packaged and preserved is by removing all the water out of it. So when you eat those foods, it's actually taking water from your body to digest them.
Oh my God.
So,
I did not know that.
And then inflammation status. BJJ is inflammatory. It's fine, like everything is inflammatory usually, but it's fine. You need to counteract that by eating anti-inflammatory foods. So like the main way you can determine inflammatory status is the type of fat that's in the food. So you've heard of omega-6 versus omega-3 fats. Those are the essential fats. And omega-6 fats are more inflammatory, whereas omega-3 fats don't cause as much inflammation. Omega-3 that's in like flax seeds, fish, grass-fed and finished meat, game. If you can get a hold of some game meat, totally fine, totally on board for that. Cool. Whereas your omega-6, you're gonna find that in fried foods, in like your just conventional meat. Yeah, mainly the stuff that you can easily get your hands on, that's gonna be the stuff that has some more inflammatory fats. And then of course your fruits and vegetables lower your inflammation status. Getting lots of good quality fat like coconut, flaxseed, things like that are going to be less inflammatory. And then of course your nutritional adequacy. This is a huge one. I think that, you know, like they teach you in dietitian school, like you can totally get all your vitamins from your food. And yes, that's theoretically true, but I think most of us really do not. I take a multivitamin every day. I take some other stuff. I take one for mood called SAMI that is really helpful. I take zinc, vitamin D, vitamin C for immunity. Sometimes I'll take probiotics as well. I think definitely get on a multivitamin, a high quality one. I use labdoor.com anytime I recommend a supplement, just because they are a independent lab that tests these things, and then they put out their results of like, does it have what it says it has? Like, is it going to work the way it says it's going to work? Is it pure? Does it have heavy metals? Like, so like it's such a good site, such a wealth of information. Go on Labdoor.
I'll put that in the description for sure.
Yeah. When you go to the tournament and you weigh in and you had to cut a little bit of weight, it's fine. We all have to do it sometimes. But you want to immediately start rehydrating. So that would be, you know, like if you can pack some watermelon, pack some grapes, which I've got over there. Grapes are great. But when you're packing snacks, you want to keep in mind like is it going to spoil or go bad if it's kept at room temperature for more than a couple hours? Because we can't avoid that in tournaments. Like, you don't really have that much control over the ambient environment of your foods. So something that people typically turn to are like the packaged foods, like one bars are fine, but one thing about them is they only have 1 gram, 1 gram of sugar, and like it says it's got 23 grams of carbohydrate, but a lot of it is fiber or sugar alcohol. So what that means is that your body mostly just gets protein when it eats this, but it still will release insulin, so you'll like pull any more sugar out of your blood and can lower your performance.
Oh,
I notice that with my husband all the time. Like if he just has a 1 bar for his snack, like he kind of gets kind of cranky and like loses brain power because he's very, he can be a little bit hypoglycemic. So that's fine, you can bring those, just make sure you have something that has carbohydrate in it as well. Chewy bars are good. Something with tournament snacks that I try to emphasize is that, is it something that you've already eaten before and you know that agrees with you? Because that's what you want to do. You don't want to have something for the very first time on tournament day.
I've heard horror stories of like fiber bars that people have tried on the day of tournaments, and I'm like, y'all know what fiber does, right? Like,
so yeah, you want it to be something that you know you like, you know your body tolerates well, and that you've had before. Granola that I make.
Oh, you made it? Oh my god, it smells really good.
Granola, like easy snack, so I know that I can put this in my bag and it'll be good that whole day. It'll be good the next day. And then when you're packing fruit, I say watermelon, but like I would want to eat this kind of like immediately when I get there, because the thing with it is that it's cut. So like all of these sides are now exposed to the environment. Like there could be bacteria on them. There could be stuff that you don't want to eat that gets onto your cut fruit. So you want to have a minimal amount of like cut fruit. Grapes are fine. So when you wash your grapes, you want to dry them all the way off. Like get them totally dry before you put them in the bag, because the water is actually going to carry the bacteria. The same thing, you might already be like, well, this is obvious, but like a turkey sandwich, you don't want to bring anything with mayo, anything with cheese. Your hard-boiled eggs, don't be that kid.
Please don't be that kid with the hard-boiled eggs. Please don't.
So but like you could do a little jerky for protein, but again, like if you're having jerky or if you're having anything that's shelf stable, like you're gonna have to have water to digest that and get that into your system. So if there's anything else like you don't want to skimp on, it's like your fluids that you're bringing. Don't assume that they're gonna have water available for you at the tournament. Don't assume that you can just buy it near there, because you may not be able to.
And that's not like an exaggeration. Like a lot of tournaments don't provide water. So.
Bring at least 2 sources, because like what if your jug falls over and it all spills out everywhere? Like you're just not gonna have water for the rest of the day? No, like you need to have it. But like Pedialyte makes these sticks that you can just pour into your water, and it's so great. I love those.
I've seen those. Yeah, I've been curious about them, so
I recommend the strawberry lemonade.
Okay, perfect.
And then there's liquid IV, that's fine. I think they're good. Emergency, there's a bunch of different sticks like that you can put into your water to make it not just plain water. And I wouldn't want to bring something like this, put lime and cucumber in like at 6 a.m. in the morning and still be drinking it at like 4 in the afternoon, because the lime is gonna start tasting pretty gross. That kind of covers tournament snacks, I think. You just want to focus on it not being something that can spoil, because even though you're healthy and young, like when you are eating something that has bacteria on it, like you're adding to that stress level. Like, so your immune system is already going to be experiencing, you know, like at least 500 other people's germs around you.
Yeah.
So you may as well like keep the things that you can control as controlled as possible. So don't, you know, have a food safety risk in your snack bag. This is kind of like a multi-purpose smoothie. It's very low inflammatory potential. It's gonna be good before or after training. It's not gonna weigh you down too much. So the main ingredient that I'm gonna add first is our berries. This has some triple berry blend, blackberries, raspberries, and blueberries, and then some of these little guys, the cranberries that I added.
I love cranberries.
But they're also very, very tart. So if you just try to do a cranberry only smoothie, you'll be puckering up. Add the cranberries, and then I add some super high water vegetables like some cucumber and some celery. You're gonna give your blender a run for its money if you add really fibrous vegetables for it. So I've got a Vitamix, and it can handle anything I throw at it. If you've got something that's a little bit not as much horsepower, you want to use like you want to cut it up some more than that before you put it in there. Can't really handle putting the skin of the lime into the smoothie because it is super powerful with the essential oils. Basically, like your lime essential oil is in the skin of a lime, so I might leave a little bit on there, but I'm trying to get most of it off, and then just pop this whole guy in there. So these are pumpkin seeds, raw unsalted pumpkin seeds that I'm throwing in there, a full quarter of a cup. Then we get to the supplements. So this is a combination of MCT oil and flax oil. Flax, like we talked about, really beneficial fat. It has the kind of fat that your body can convert to omega-3s. And then I'm gonna add some supplements. So I've got whey protein powder. I get grass-fed whey. It's less inflammatory than regular whey, and it doesn't really cause as much stomach upset. I find this is stuff that I found at Sam's, and it's just the Muscle Tech whey grass-fed. A couple other supplements I just happen to have. I've got this collagen supplement. Collagen you might have heard of. It's really good for your skin, good for your hair. It really is good. And then this is a greens blend. So when you're purchasing a greens blend, you can kind of spend a lot of money on not a lot of stuff because you'll have like grass powder. But if it's just the powdered grass, you're not going to be able to digest it. You have to have the juice, the grass juice powder. Like it has to be juiced first before they powder it. Then you can actually absorb it. Okay. So this is a mix of like spirulina, ginseng, blue-green algae, mushroom, green tea. Cool. Just a bunch of different stuff. I don't have any loyalty to this brand. I just kind of like get what's on sale, switch it out. That gives my body a little bit of a different nutrient profile each time. I'm gonna add some stevia to this. This is the Better Stevia by Now. It's a liquid stevia. Stevia actually is an herb. I mean, you can process it down to being a white powder and then it's not very healthy for you anymore. But it really does just come out of the ground like this. And I'm gonna have Mac try a leaf of it.
Just the whole leaf?
Yeah, just chew on it. Or just like a little bite of it.
Oh my God.
So sweet, right?
Wow.
So if you happen to have access to stevia, you can just put stevia in there too.
I'm about to eat this whole leaf.
Yeah, it's a really good leaf. It's a sweet leaf.
Wow.
I'm just gonna put water in for the liquid. I also use coconut milk for this too. It's so good. It's very like hydrating, nourishing, but not like heavy.
Oh, good.
Or you can use yogurts, like different kinds of plant-based yogurt. You can make yogurt in the Instant Pot if you get weird like that.
Oh, if you get weird like that.
So I blended this for 45 seconds. You really want to make your food as pleasant as possible. It's one of those kind of sources of pleasure that is available to humans that is kind of underappreciated, I think, especially by diet culture. If you're just like thinking that you need to lose weight and that food is the enemy and stuff like that, like you can have a really adversarial relationship with food.
Hey,
cheers.
Cool, here we go. Oh my God, that's really good. I love that.
This actually, the celery is like kind of in the back.
I love it. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to be careful with your balance. Like if I had added a bunch of spinach to this thing would be very brown and would be very not as nice to drink. Yes, sugar is inflammatory. It really just is. Like there's not an easy way to get around that. Like any kind of sugar is going to cause more inflammation, especially white sugars. So agave nectar is a more natural alternative to sugar, although not like totally, you know, it still has actual carbohydrate in it. It's still going to give you calories.
All right, well, thanks for doing this. This was a lot of fun, very informational. I'm definitely gonna put all of what she was talking about down in the description so you guys can get a better look at it. Feel free to share this with your friends. Like, this was a lot of information that I have never known in my 28 years of living. So once again, thanks. If you wanna talk about what you got going on, you totally can.
Sure, yeah, this was super fun. I really enjoy doing this sort of thing. As a dietitian, I'm more of the entrepreneurial type. Like my husband and I own a martial arts school, National Martial Arts here down on the south side, and I'm actually getting into the cannabis business. So we're making edibles now. My business name is Levinate, and you can find us at Levinate LLC on Instagram. Our mission statement is to be inspired by the old ways, guided by new evidence, make the cannabis as good for your health as possible. And like, I love it. I think cannabis is great, and I've been using it for a lot of years, and I'm really excited to get in the space and start, you know, sharing what I know.
Yeah, and let me tell you, I sampled like 3 different types of the teas, I think it was, and it was just, it put me to sleep. I drank like one of the sleepy time ones, I believe. I drank it like right before bed, and I didn't even feel like a high. My body just finally felt relaxed. And if you've been watching my channel for a long time, you know that I am the queen of anxiety. So that helped a lot. So definitely check them out on Instagram whenever you guys get the chance. I'll put the description below. Once again, thanks.
Thank you.
Glad you were here.
It's so much fun.
Yeah, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel for new videos on Mondays and Wednesdays, and I'll see you guys next time.